A very good evening from the Tamandaya Hockey Stadium. It is the final match on day 2 of the Sultan of Johor Cup 2022. And before we get this match underway, which is between Australia and Malaysia, just our apologies on the last game. We had a power outage, and so the footage or the live stream between India and South Africa dropped out. I can tell you we have recorded the game, and we will be posting that to YouTube as soon as possible, and I trust you will want to watch that game. It was an absolute cracker. Our sincere apologies, but unfortunately these things happen, and it was circumstances beyond our control. But we will, luckily, because we recorded it, be able to give you that information or share that game with you in due course. And that will probably be up on YouTube tomorrow at some stage as we try and upload it tonight. The internet, though, I have to say, here at the hotel is extremely poor, so it's going to take us a while. But coming up now is Australia versus Malaysia. Both these teams played yesterday. Malaysia lost in their match to India 5-2, and Australia won their game against Japan 3-2. So Australia looking to continue their winning ways, and the matches, if you don't want to hear the result from the South Africa-India game, just block your ears for a sec. But Japan caused an upset in the first game today with a 2-1 victory over Great Britain, and we didn't think that could continue, but it did, because it was South Africa who recorded a 5-4 victory over India. So it means if Malaysia win today, every team will have recorded a victory and had one loss at the end of the first 2 days. So Australia looking to go outright top if they can get a victory over Malaysia. Turn our attention to the team lineups, and first of all, Australia, and the players to look out for, really, for them. Well, there's several had good games, I thought, in their opening match against Japan. Cooper Burns was certainly lively, the number 21 for Australia. Brodie Foster didn't get amongst the goals. He'll be hoping that he can. Liam Henderson was another one who I was expecting to really shine in this tournament. He had a quiet game by his standards, but Shaw has made a contribution, and I think we'll see him just get stronger as the tournament goes on. But there were good performances from most of the team, and they will be looking to continue their winning ways today. Well, Malaysia, there's a good turnout for them tonight, and the pressure will be certainly on them. Talking to a few of their former internationals, they were disappointed with the way the team performed yesterday. I thought Alfarico, their captain, wearing the number 3, he had a good game. So too Faris Harizan, and Rafaisal in goal was outstanding. Another player that stood out for me was number 13, Mamat, who showed great leadership, taking responsibility, also managed to score from a penalty corner. So Malaysia, though, a lot of pressure on them as the home nation. They've only won this event once, and that was in 2011 when they beat Australia in the final after extra time. So they will really want to perform today. And it's interesting just looking at some of the names of the players that played in that game. Jack Wallace scored for Australia, Dylan Wotherspoon, and Fitri Sari scored for Malaysia, and Noor Fayez scored 2 for Malaysia in that final. Several of those names going on to represent their countries at senior level, and that's what this tournament is all about, just to see who can mix it with the best, and then it is up to the players then to show what they can do. Great tournament, and a really exciting one to be involved with. I have to say it's my 5th time here, and really look forward to the action every year. And this will be a big game. Australia, you would feel, would want to press quite early and try and put the pressure on Malaysia, because that's what India did, and other teams have done the same, and it's reaped benefits when they have. But as the players make their way off and prepare to make their way back onto the pitch for the start of the game, just like to acknowledge again the sponsors that have made the live stream possible, and that is Groundwork Interior, a multiple award-winning custom interior fittings firm with a presence in Australia, Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia, Taiwan, Thailand, the Philippines and Vietnam. So if you're watching from any of those countries and you know an office or a company or a shop that needs its interior, please contact Groundwork Interior, supporting hockey and supporting this live stream. Also, we've got Ong and Ong, and they are a design, management and engineering company who offer the 360-degree solution at Ong and Ong, and their intimate understanding of modern living allows them to curate unique and inspiring environments. So again, if that fits your bill, please give them a call. And of course, we also have Project Innovations Private Limited, which is a project management company located and working in Asia, but with experience way beyond the confines of Asia. And of course, Griffin, well, they're a brand that everyone in hockey knows. And again, they are on board supporting this live stream as they have done in previous years. And they've been making an impact since 1983. So thank those sponsors again for making it possible for us to bring you the live stream free of charge. And once again, our apologies that it broke down in the last game, but that was beyond our control. If you have a power outage, it can cut the internet just momentarily, and unfortunately it just cut it long enough for us to lose the stream. But as I said, we will give you that game hopefully in the next 24 hours. Having recorded it, we will upload it for you so you don't miss any of the action. Thank you very much for your patience. I'm Ashley Morrison, looking forward to sharing this final game on day 2. And it really is proving to be a very even competition. And it's going to go down to the wire, you feel, next Saturday. The two captains swapping pennants. Captain for Malaysia tonight is actually Abdul Razak. Malaysia sharing the captaincy, and Connor Otterbach as well will take over the captain's armband for Australia tonight. Jaden Atkinson had the armband yesterday. Connor Otterbach was the captain of Victoria in the Australian Under-21s Championships, and I know Western Australia won the final, but I have to say, and I live in Western Australia, but I have to say that Victoria, for mine, were the best team in the competition, but they just didn't perform when it mattered in that final. And I'm sure the pain of that defeat will live with Connor Otterbach for a while. So the umpires for this game, we have Takuma Keto from Japan making his debut in this tournament, and also Salim Lucky from Bangladesh. And we hope that they have a good night at the office. It's always good if you don't notice the umpires and they get through their shift without any controversy. Salim Lucky, who hails from Dhaka, and Takuma Keto, as I said, making his debut for Japan. And it'll be a big time for him, his first international match, and bound to be a few butterflies, but we've seen a few of the umpires here make their debut. And so far, I don't think anyone can really complain about the performance of the umpires. I think they've been on top form, and there's been no really controversial issues for anybody to talk about. Sometimes we forget that they too are human. A player may make 5 or 6 mistakes in a game, an umpire makes 1 and he gets lambasted. Well, the Ultras are here again for Malaysia. It was nice after the game. They stood there and sang the national anthem to the players down on the pitch, and the players all stood to attention. Great respect between the players and the fans here in Malaysia, and it is a really special atmosphere. But most of these supporters are big supporters of Johor, the football club, which are the champions of Malaysia, and a very, very wealthy club. One that former Socceroo Alistair Edwards is involved with. So the players making their way out, and we're going to get this final match underway very shortly. I can tell you Australia have rotated their goalkeepers. This time it will be Jed Snowden who will start under the bar. And the same with Malaysia. Rafaisal, who came on really in the second half, will start for Malaysia. So the players now have taken centre of the field, and we will wait for the national anthems. And the first national anthem will be the national anthem of Australia, Advance Australia Fair. And now we'll have the national anthem of Malaysia, Negaraku. So the formality's over now, and we can get proceedings underway. I just wanted to comment, actually, yesterday we had the second verse of Advance Australia Fair, and I think that some of the Aussie players were a little bit stunned. It doesn't get sung very often, but going to give a gold star to Jake Lambeth because he knew the words, and he sang those quite well from where it looked from where we were. So well done, the man from New South Wales. Obviously learnt that at Grafton High School. So Malaysia in the white will take on Australia in their famous green and gold. Though I have to say, it looks more yellow than gold, this strip. And the drumming commences, and it will continue for the next hour. And we will hear it in our sleep, I can guarantee you. It's almost as memorable as the vuvuzelas in South Africa when they were blown at the Football World Cup. The Australian families over to our left-hand side. Plenty of them here supporting their sons, and great to see them able to do so. Obviously not quite as convenient for some of the other parents from other countries, and that's why the live stream is so important and why we've tried to bring it to you free of charge for the last three versions of the Sultan of Johor Cup. So Australia get us underway. The ball pushed back by Cooper Burns. And Malaysia really looking for their first points. Pushed forward that time by Michael Doan. Good pass again to Cooper Burns. Burns pushes it out to the left-hand side. It would come to Burns again inside the circle, but it good work by Faris Harizan. Cut out the pass and pushed it over the sideline. Australia again trying to find a way around. Good work being done by Liam Hart. Hart was a very busy player last night. Did a lot of running off the ball to create space for his fellow forwards. Really unselfish performance by him, in my opinion. Faris Harizan plays the ball square again in the defensive line for Malaysia. Comes back to him once more. Alfariko goes wide again. Comes this time to Jeffrinus. Jeffrinus' pass is cut out by Cam Geddes. Alfariko got it back though for Malaysia. Forced back though this time is Norizam. Faris Harizan, Alfariko. Alfariko, as I said, just 1.59 metre, a very diminutive player. Has played for the national team. He's got 6 caps for them so far. 4 players for Malaysia have international caps for their country at senior level. None of the Australian players yet have been afforded that honour, but I'm sure that every single one of them dreams of that day. So Ball thrown high and long, brought down almost superbly. I think it just caught the body. But a great effort there from Liam Hart. Plays for the Pine River St Andrews Club in Brisbane. Liam Hart. Cam Geddes just popping that one over the sideline. Faris Harazan getting plenty of touches at the moment. He played at the Junior World Cup in 2021, as a few players for Malaysia did. Mamat and Razak Sayawal also played there. And of course they'll be looking forward to next year when Malaysia will be the host of the Junior World Cup. And all these teams are looking to prepare for that, and that's why they've all come with players that will be eligible for that Junior World Cup. No team has brought a player that will be too old. Good pressure again from Hart, and he's stolen the ball away well from Mizron. Looks to play it to Brodie Foster. Good defence again coming across from Faris Harazan. Faris Harazan, though, in the corner, gets a little bump from Brodie Foster. Now, Brodie Foster is a mountain compared to Faris Harazan. Alfarico, again a strong challenge, and Michael Doan, not that much taller. Michael Doan, who again has part Asian descent. Great to see more of the Asian Australians being involved in the game. It's an area where I think has been a little bit neglected. A long corner anyway for Australia. Comes back to Doan again. Comes wide now to David Hubbard. Plays it forward. It's a good pass into the corner. Trying to turn as well as he can is Jay McDonald. It's going to be McDonald's free hit. Comes back to Hubbard again. Squares it into the defensive line. Otterback. Good pass again out wide to Sims. Sims also a Victorian player. Victoria, of course, being one of the states in Australia. And the states like provinces in South Africa. Good defence by Australia, getting bodies behind the ball and just breaking up that attack and making Malaysia play it back. Ball comes wide this time to Jeffriness. He's got a little bit of space in front of him, not too many options though. Alfarico again just sitting in that little pocket. But Brooks is marshalling Alfarico when the chance comes. Again, it's Faris Harazan, comes wide this time to Jeffriness. And Australia just holding their positions and shifting across, and then they intercept when the long ball is played. It was a good intercept from Toby Mallon, but he's just pushed that pass. Well, I thought he'd pushed it just too far, and in the end it has gone out of play. But it was a good effort to try and keep it in play from Jake Lambeth. So Malaysia, plenty of possession, but none of it so far in Australia's half. As we go back through the same routine again. Faris Harazan combining again with Mizron. Mizron managed to get the ball up the side again. Good pressure though from Australia. And Jamli had to go backwards, but they're looking to go across the pitch now. Malaysia trying to find a way through. Norizam manages to feed the ball into the path of Razak. Razak gets the free hit for Malaysia, spins into the circle. Razak looks for a foot, not given. And Razak is arguing with the umpire. Play continues. Brodie Foster just beaten to the punch that time. Good tackle coming in from Najmi. Malaysia conceded quite early last night. So I'm sure that tonight their coach, Amin Rahim, didn't want them to concede early at all. Brooks now wanted the pass down the line. Foster now is in a position to receive that. Foster accelerates towards the circle, looks to ping that one in, and it ricochets off the stick of Mizron. It'll be a long corner for Australia. Henderson, helped forward this time by Toby Mallon. Great pass to the baseline, and off the foot it goes to the first penalty corner for Australia. And this will be interesting. Australia 1 from 5 in their opening game against Japan. And I know Jay Stacey will want that to improve. Jay Stacey, of course, one of the leading goal scorers for Australia until a certain Jamie Dwyer came along. Scored 172 goals for the Kookaburras in a 321 cap career, which, if you do your maths, that's better than a goal every other game. So Campbell Geddes and Brodie Foster line up. Campbell Geddes at the first battery, Brodie Foster at the second. Can Australia break the deadlock? A good trap. Geddes flicks low, went into the first runner. I think it went into his stick because certainly there was no whistle from either umpire. And Malaysia have done well. The ball though comes to Geddes and then just poked over the side. Geddes again, short pass from him. Nice turn coming that time from Lambeth. Malaysia still possession again. Throw it up the field, and just letting that one run out of play was Jay McDonald. So now Malaysia look to press a little bit higher up the field and put pressure on Australia. Good early pass. Doan closed down though. Razak couldn't get the ball off him. Nice deflection that time from Jack Holland. Australia looking to get inside the circle, and it was good defence once more. Good play from Lambeth on the left-hand side, but good defence from Malaysia. Malaysia ball on halfway, and we've gone past the halfway stage of the first quarter. Zulhanif now, and really asking a lot there of Tangaraja. So Geddes over the ball on the sideline for Australia. Happily goes back in the defensive line. Nathan Zinner, very comfortable in that defensive role. Gives it back to Geddes this time. Geddes mistraps it and just lets his frustration show. Good pass forward now for Malaysia. Sulhami goes past a set. Well, no, he didn't. Brilliant tackle. Jay McDonald, it had almost gone past him, and McDonald somehow managed to steal it back for Australia with a really good tackle. Jay McDonald hails from Canberra, the Australian Capital Territory. Plays for the Wests Hockey Club there. So we're now into the final 5 minutes of the first quarter. Still no goals as yet. Nathan Zinner helps it down the line again. Trent Sims, it'll be from the side. Goes back to Zinner again. He plays it square. Geddes helps it on. Trying to turn is Burns. Burns into the circle along the baseline. Lets it come back. Great defence though. Superb from Jasmine Jamlis. Hemmed in the corner now. Faris Harizan tries to play it up the side. Australia may well have stolen it. It's going to break kindly into the circle. Shot on the turn. Just wide that time from Jack Holland. Well, that was great awareness by Holland. Knew roughly where the goal was. As I mentioned yesterday, Jack Holland, the only South Australian player. Product of Pembroke College. Alfarico Good touch takes him away from the Australian player. A good pass as well, managed to pick out Mamat. Mamat, though, put under immense pressure by Sims. Keeps possession for Malaysia. And that's a super pass in turn to Razak. Razak denied the shot by a brave challenge by Campbell Geddes. And look how quickly Australia looked to launch defence into attack. Good run again from Holland, willingly getting forward. Holland stolen it inside the circle. Holland again across the face of goal. Penalty corner won by him. Appeals for a stroke from Australia. Not given, but Australia get a second penalty corner. Well, Holland again, just that willingness. As soon as he saw the attack happening, made a really strong run into really good space, and the pass was made to him. Lost it for a second, but determination saw him win it back. So Liam Hart goes to the baseline. Campbell Geddes waits, and alongside him this time is Cooper Burns. Otterback will do the stopping. And it comes, Campbell Geddes. Good work by the first runner, Campbell Geddes. Brilliant save. Superb from Rafaisal. Still with Australia, though. They've not cleared the danger, and they will do now. Well, Rafaisal getting the applaudits now. He had a superb game last night against India. It could have been so much worse for Malaysia. And I think that's why he's been given the nod to start tonight. The 18-year-old. Great diagonal pass and a mistrap when it needed to be on point from Danish Ayman. Now that is a little bit frustrating because it was a superb pass. Still 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Brooks surrounded by Malaysian players. Alfaraco has stolen it away from Brooks. Alfaraco trying to get on his forehand. Looks to win a penalty corner, does so. The smallest man on the pitch is a bit of a magician when the ball's on his stick. A really exciting prospect for Malaysia. Alfaraco Liao. Played in the hockey fives in Lausanne. Whatever you think of, fives is irrelevant. Those players who were invited to play, accepting the invitation. And there are many in the game that are not fans of it. So Malaysia with their first penalty corner, can they snatch the lead? Slight shift to the right, it's a mistrap. Mamat was the man waiting, it never came to him. Now Australia have got a chance. Inside the circle is Holland if they can find him. Still going all the way. Brave run, and winning the penalty corner is Liam Hart. So third penalty corner for Australia. Defended one, came straight up the pitch and won one themselves. Rafaisal having a chat with the umpire there. That is Salim Lucky from Bangladesh. So making his way to the baseline once more is Liam Hart, the man who won the penalty corner. Cooper Burns at the first battery this time. Alongside him is Joshua Brooks. 21 and 22. Side by side, it goes to Burns, but it's a mistrap this time. Doan tries to get it across, just hesitated with his pass that split second, and Malaysia pounced. Alfaraco gets the deflection off the stick of Nathan Zinner. Again, Malaysia play on really quickly. Good skills being shown this time as they break down the right from left rather. Australia's right. Comes back now to Norizam. And again, good work by Australia, forcing Malaysia to play it from the edge of the circle all the way back into their defensive half. Approaching the final minute now in this first quarter. No goals as yet. And Malaysia, if they want to try and get a goal before the break, they need to get it forward quickly. Back into the defensive line again. Zulhanif missed that one, and then it didn't quite break for Razak. Brooks now. Good lead again from Holland. Holland across the face of goal. Superb defence, and it needed to be. That was outstanding commitment from Najmi. Long corner conceded. Australia with Doan over the ball and just pushed it a little bit too far ahead of Brooks. And that may well be the last play in this quarter. Goes back to Malaysia, given away. And there goes the hooter just as Holland was about to unleash. And I'm sure he's thinking, if only there had been a couple more seconds. So the end of the first quarter, no goals as yet. It is Australia 0, Malaysia 0. Well, certainly today we've had a couple of teams make an impact, and now in the final game on day 2, it will be a rest day tomorrow. Just waiting for Malaysia or Australia to make an impact on this match like Griffin and see if they can get us a goal to just liven proceedings up. Certainly the Malaysian fans would love one from Malaysia. I'm sure for most of these Australian players, they've never played in an atmosphere like this. Great experience for them. And that's thrown long again. It'll go out down by the corner. So Australia can now employ a high press. Malaysia just trying to decide who's going to play the ball in from the side. Banged up the side from Tangaraja. Great steal by Malaysia. Alfarico. Well, the decision has gone. It's Malaysia ball from the side, so Jeffrey Nuss plays it in. Played first time, and that was a little bit casual from Norizam. Luckily for Malaysia, they've come up with the ball thanks to Najmi. Intercepted by Jay McDonald. Jay McDonald, though, put under pressure, but will get the free hit. McDonald was in the Australian Capital Territory Team of the Year in 2021. Gets the ball again now. Brooks ahead of him, the Tasmanian. And that's a great pass again to pick out Hart. Hart looking to weave his way past Najmi. And the free hit goes Australia's way. Otterback, the captain tonight. Comes wide now to Hubbard. Hubbard plays it back in turn to Toby Mallon. Got it under control in the end, McDonald. Geddes. And Cooper Burns inside the circle. Takes up a good position in that, where the circle meets the baseline. Often waiting for the ball there to just turn and launch an attack, Cooper Burns. Malaysia, up the side it goes, but out of play. It goes just inside their own half. So Geddes comes forward. Brought down again well by Liam Hart into the circle. Deflected out by Malaysia. Turning into a bit of trouble there was Toby Mallon. Malaysia come up with the ball. Razak has to go back. Razak. There's a bit of pressure now on Mizron, and Australia come up with the ball. Good pass again. Henderson finds Foster. Foster shoots, deflected brilliantly. Another great bit of defence by Tangaraja. I think Brodie Foster thought he was opening his account. He just delayed his shot. McDonald now. And they'll let that one run out of play for the long corner. Umpire just trying to calm things down. Certainly there's a lot of scurrying around in the defence. Across the face of goal it goes this time from Hubbard. Into the circle it goes once more by Australia. Up it goes. Ricochets. That's going to go in the main stand. Well, that is a monster of a ricochet. And the players asking for the ball to be thrown back. Eventually, well, the Malaysian fans does throw it back. I think they wanted it as a souvenir. You don't see that too often. Again, a lovely pass across the face of goal. Rafaizul, but he couldn't keep out the rebound. And it's a really opportunist finish. Pouncing and coming in really quickly to make sure that Australia claim the lead is the man who's worked tirelessly, Liam Hart. Thoroughly deserves that goal, Hart. Not just for his efforts tonight, but for last night as well. So Australia have the lead, and Malaysia are going to have to come from behind. And that was a mistrap, going to go all the way through to the keeper, and Australia again looking to mount the pressure. Mizron turns away from his circle, looks to hit it forward, miss-hit that one. He's lucky, though, that the ball actually ended up with Danish Ayman. Australia steal it back, but illegally, says the umpire. And again, just letting that one bounce, and it just kicks off the turf out of play. Australia can just ease up a little bit, but they won't, because their nature is to attack and score wherever they can. Good run again from Toby Mallon. He takes a tumble. It was actually Henderson, my apologies, not Mallon. Geddes. Great pass to Doan. Doan again in turn to Holland, and Holland into the turf, and it will go wide. But it did take a touch off the Malaysian stick. Now it's Mallon. Short pass to Doan. Doan looking to play it into the circle. It hits the body of the Malaysian player. And so another penalty corner to Australia as they look to turn the screws on their hosts here in Johor Bahru. Just under 10 minutes left in the second quarter. The Ultras continue to drum and to sing and to try and inspire their nation. Henderson makes his way to the baseline. Geddes and Foster line up top of the circle. McDonald stopping for Geddes. Zinner stopping for Foster. It goes for Foster. Foster flicks, but again, good work by the first runner. It will be another penalty corner. Brave running from Zulhanif. Australia now with their 5th penalty corner. Zulhanif, who plays for the Bukit Jalil Sports School, or he did. So Geddes and Foster wait again. It goes to Foster once more. It's not a good trap this time, and it'll be a free hit to Malaysia. Comes wide. Jamli Jamlas, no one in support, so he's going to have to try and go himself. And this time he commits the foul as it was stolen away from him by Nathan Zinner. Nathan Zinner, who's a product of the O'Connor Catholic College in Armidale in New South Wales. Doan, mistrap from him, great pounce by Alfarico. 3-on-2 now for Malaysia. A good pass, they've got to get it across the D, and it goes across the face of goal. Well, really, they should have done better. They had the numbers inside the circle. Good movement. Hazrick was there. But Danish Ayman went for the glory himself. Probably should have just put it in the space, I think, just where there could have been a tip-in. Easy to say up here, though. Otterbach finds Brooks in space. Brooks now looks to square it. Good block initially coming in that time from Zulhanif. Brooks still battling away with Zulhanif, and in the end the free hit goes the way of the Malaysian. Zulhanif again with the upright trap. Carries it towards Brooks. I think he fancied his chances, having just got the better of him. Went over the side, off the stick of Brooks. And Nathan Zinner just a little bit too close. In fact, it's Jake Lambeth, my apologies. Lambeth just standing within the 5 metres. Jaden Atkinson slipping it back to Sims. Doan. Brooks now looks to cut him from the side, played it into, I thought, the hand. So Brooks again with a free hit for Australia. Comes back to Michael Doan. Doan again for Australia. Brooks now tries to find a way along the baseline. Was he bumped out of the way? Certainly looked it, but umpire was perfectly placed and probably had a better view of it than I've got. And Malaysia hemmed in the corner. Zulhanif again involved. Now it's trying to work it out by Razak. Abdul Razak, through the legs he goes, and Australia still possession. Really good play coming from Jaden Atkinson. So Atkinson over the ball. Will play it back to Michael Doan. In turn, he goes back to Zinner. Short pass to Brooks. Zinner again. Everyone except the keeper now inside Malaysia's half. And a mistrap there. Just bobbled in front of Otterbach. Malaysia trying to find Suhami. Again, stolen back. Good work by Jaden Atkinson. Brooks having to battle hard to keep it for Australia. In the end, he's going to lose out to Razak, but free hit goes Brooks' way. Now, Brooks is certainly a battler, there's no doubt about that. Currently studying at RMIT University. Oh, lovely work. And played into space, but unfortunately for Malaysia, Shafiq was on his heels. Norizam with a clever pass, but yeah, now I can just see the conversation down below. And I think there was a comment made that, well, I'd have to say I don't think Shafiq really liked it, but he was just caught on his heels. Otherwise, that could have been a really good move for Malaysia. Zulhanif helps it forward now. Norizam has to go back away from Brooks and Burns. Oh, and the ricochet is a good one for Malaysia. Just left the ball behind though. Still with them though. Shami got the better of two. Still going. Has he got a free hit off Brooks? No. Brooks gets the free hit, finding the foot of Shami. Well, I mentioned how Brooks is a fighter. Brooks is a tall man, yet he moves actually very well. Carried forward by Toby Mallon. Toby Mallon, just 17 years of age. He's the youngest boy here. Trying to get in around the back there, but unable to do so was Jay McDonald. There are a few players from other countries that are younger than Mallon. Danish Ayman for Malaysia, he's 17 as well. Mamat just 18. Trying to turn now is Hazariq. Hazariq appeals for the free hit, not given to him. Good anticipation though by Malaysia, and especially in defence from Mizran. Mizran's had a tough time so far in this first half, but he's been up to the task most of the time. Real determination to get on the end of that pass was Liam Henderson, but in the end the ball just had a little bit too much pace. Henderson, who plays for the Camberwell Hockey Club in Victoria. I don't think he had too much choice because his dad, Andrew, was actually a coach there for a few years. So, family thing. But he's in the first team now, and that's the main thing. I'm sure his dad's extremely proud of him. Into the circle it goes. Australia don't clear first time, but they do eventually. And that's just too far ahead of Foster. Played in from the side by Norizam, and he's really misdirected that pass. Rafaisal had to help out defensively again. Alfariko, good touch I think from him. Go over the sideline. It will be Australia's ball with a minute and a half left in the first half. Australia just leading by the solitary goal at the moment. Good ball again. Trying to work his way into the circle there is Henderson, and he wins a penalty corner. Incredibly, Australia's 6th penalty corner of the match so far. Haven't yet managed to convert one. So that makes them 1 from 10 so far in the tournament. Conversion rate used to be fairly high in international hockey. It's now down around 30%. A lot of people talk about it being in the high 40s, but the runners have changed their line, the goalkeepers do their homework, and we're down to roughly the low 30%, usually around 33, 34% at a tournament. So Geddes now at the second battery. And I think we got Cooper Burns, I think, at the first. Hard to see from the angle. Goes to Geddes, takes a deflection off the first runner again. Long corner this time. Doan over the ball for Australia. Wanted to get on with it quickly. In the end, he'll go square to Hubbard. Good pass into the middle. Henderson again. Malaysia bursting out of defence, but no numbers really in support. So Australia easily able to close down. Hazri carried it forward. And up in the air, Australia knock it forward again. And here's an opportunity. Laid back, great pass, Burns. Rafaisal with another really good save. He's having a big tournament. And they usually have a goalkeeper at the tournament in Malaysia. And I would say Rafaisal at the moment has got a shoe-in for that. Reece Govinda for South Africa, though, he had a brilliant game as well, made a very, very important save in their game against India. And that's going to be a free hit to Australia, just outside the circle, but no time to take it. The hooter goes, and that is the end of the first half and the second quarter. Al-Fariko sits to his knees. Was the captain last night. Malaysia have had to work hard. It's all been defensive work. They had a couple of opportunities going forward, but didn't manage to get on the score sheet. Liam Hart did for Australia. And as they go into the halftime break, it's Australia 1, Malaysia 0. Welcome back to the Tamandaya Hockey Stadium. Good to see the crowds and the locals turning out tonight. It was a little bit quiet for Malaysia's game against India, but the main stand on the opposite side where we are is very, very full tonight. And good to see people taking advantage on the far side of the pitch as well. And they do like their hockey here, but they do like their national team to be winning. And unfortunately, they lost last night. They're losing to Australia. And they would love Malaysia to get into one of the medal matches if they can in 2022. And it would just boost not only the morale of the country, but also give them a boost heading into the Junior World Cup in just over a year's time. I think next year's Sultan of Johor Cup will be very, very interesting to see how the teams perform and how many cards they keep up their sleeve. But Australia leading by 1-0 at the moment. Liam Hart's goal, the difference between the two teams. And we can see over to our left-hand side, Jay Stacey talking to the players. He's assisted by two really well-respected players in Australian hockey, Matthew Wells and Mark Knowles. And these players, I hope they realise how much expertise they're getting from those players. And when you think Jay Stacey, 321 caps for Australia, and Mark Knowles is up there as well as one of the most capped players for Australia. Matthew Wells had 242 appearances. And I think Mark Knowles, I'm just trying to find how many he had in the end, 324. So if you look at that, that's over 800 international caps between the three coaches. So plenty of experience for these players to learn from. And hopefully they're really using every opportunity they can to tap their brains and learn from them. Well, Malaysia get us underway. Mamat plays it back. Is there a way back for them? That's a good pass forward to Shaimi. Shaimi looking to get past one. Was that a foot on the edge? Not according to the umpires. That's a very clumsy challenge. And it's going to be a green card. Heavy fall for Jaden Atkinson, and Shami is going to spend a couple of... Oh, it's not Shami, he was heading off, but it's in fact Abdul Razak who's got the 2 minutes on the side and a big grin on his face because Shami looked as if he was going to take the penalty for him. That's a super pass and a great one for Atkinson to receive. He plays it out wide, collected inside the circle, but ricocheted up, and Malaysia will get the free hit in the end. Liam Hart was trying to get it under control, but just went a little bit too high, created a bit of danger. I think there was a good advantage played by Takuma Keito, the umpire making his debut today. Oof. Eventually did well, but there was a moment where it didn't look so good. He's given it away now, Najmi. A good recovery by Malaysia in the end. That was good defensive play from Faris Harazan. In fact, it was Mizron, my apologies, not Faris. Atkinson getting more and more involved in this game. He seems to be getting more and more touches late in that second quarter, and certainly in the start of this. It'll come to him again. Feeds it down the line. Hart. Farico. It's going to be a foot just outside the circle as Hart's ball was deflected away from where it was intended. Atkinson plays on into the circle. He'll be looking for a penalty corner, I'm sure. Still with Atkinson. Does find the foot. And there is the penalty corner. And so now Australia looking to try and convert. As I said, they were up to 1 from 11 before this one. So they really need to try and just up their game a little bit. Incredibly, in this match, the last time there was a clean sheet in a game between these two at under-21 level, you've got to go back to 1989, and that was in the Junior World Cup when Australia won 1-0, and that was in the pool game there. So you would think that Malaysia should score today. Get his flicks. Faisal. Well, in the end it was a really good save because he lost the ball. Australia took it quickly. And Malaysia just push it over the side again. So the pressure will continue. Faisal just offset slightly to the right, but was perfectly placed. Michael Doan. Otterbach now. Slip on the far side. Malaysia will steal it through Alfarico. And that was just telegraphed in the end. Sims stepping forward. And we'll get the free hit. And a little coming together between Shaimi and Brooks. And it's going to break. Over the top it goes from Foster. Well, he had a really good opportunity to open his account there, Brodie Foster. And I know he's a very good golfer. Maybe he just needed to swing a little bit slower. In fact, Brodie Foster, a very talented all-round sportsman. He was part of the Cricket Australia program. So talented, he was in the rookie pathway for cricket in Australia and turned his back on that game to play hockey because he enjoyed it far more. I believe his dad was a little bit disappointed with that, but Foster now gets the ball again. Hits that one well to Cooper Burns. Burns does a 360. Oh, and that's a clever pass. That one coming from Henderson. Henderson again, we've seen a lot more of him as I thought we would tonight. There's no doubt that Liam Henderson is a quality player. Just the other night, just thought he was a little bit quiet. Well, the drumming continues. The flags continue to fly for Malaysia. All they need is their team to score, and these fans will be ecstatic. Talk to, oh, we got a player down injured, one of the Malaysian players. Not sure whether he's just got cramp or just went down suddenly, or is it his knee? Actually, it looks like it may well be the knee. And I hope that is nothing serious, because Faris Harazan has been one of their standout players actually. Hails from Penang. Apparently he's a very good futsal player as well, Faris Harazan. I'm sure coaches don't want him playing that too much now he's in the high performance program for hockey. But I believe he was pretty handy with a futsal. Well, he seems to be walking off not too bad, so hopefully it isn't anything too serious, and maybe a little bit of ice and we'll see him back out there. Clearly not able to run. So we're just waiting for him to make his way off. Looks like Najmi will be coming on to replace him. Just a little bit of a limp. And he looks, I have to say, a little bit disconsolate. Well, I really do hope it's nothing serious. Australia still possession back, and immediately the tempo lifts. Otterbach. Oh, that was a good touch. Across the D it goes. That's a superb tackle, and Malaysia somehow clear it. Just as it looked like Jack Holland was going to shoot, he was closed down and the ball nicked away from him. Along the baseline again goes Henderson. And this time it's a penalty corner for Australia. Well, you've got to give Malaysia credit, because there's been a lot of pressure on their defence. And I'm sure Jay Stacey and the coaching staff will just want Australia to maybe convert some of these opportunities. Now the senior Australian team, they look at how many opportunities they create in a game and judge where they came from and what the calibre of those opportunities were, and then they look at how many they convert. So they'll be a little bit disappointed, I think, that they're getting into the circle but not getting goals. So Brooks at the second battery, Foster at the first, looking for their first penalty corner goal of the night, and this being their 8th penalty corner. Comes to Foster. Foster flicks low, Rafaisal, and it's dribbled in. Well, I'm not sure if the final touch, in fact, came from Jake Lambeth. I think it may well have done. I think Lambeth will get the credit for the goal because it was saved and it didn't actually cross the line. And Malaysia were trying to scramble to get it out, and Lambeth, I believe, got the final touch. And he may well be the player credited with the goal. But Australia now lead 2-0. And if they can hang on, they will be the only team to have a 100% record. Malaysia, on the other hand, will be the only team yet to win a game. Comes forward again now, Holland. That pass again, just didn't have enough vim on it from McDonald. As they used to say, wouldn't butter the parsnips. And just the ground announcer confirming that Lambeth got the final touch. Malaysia, though, have gone straight back on the attack, and they need to put some pressure now on Australia. Mizran comes wide now to Najmi. That's a good pass by Najmi as well. A nice turn as well into the circle for Malaysia. Off the pads of Ollie Higgins, who's replaced Jed Snowden, and it will be a penalty corner. Oh, finally Malaysia get a second penalty corner. They had to work hard to get it. Hardly noticed that Higgins had replaced Snowden because Snowden had absolutely nothing to do in the first half. Now Higgins will have something to do. Snowden was in goal for one penalty corner. I'm sure Higgins will be hoping that this is the only one he has to face, although that may not be the case. Sure, Ollie Higgins will be looking forward to the next game Australia have. That's against Great Britain on Tuesday, because he was born in Coventry in the UK. So Malaysia just shift their battery slightly to the right. Good flick comes in, saved by Higgins. Tangaraja was the man with the flick on the ball now and tries to get it into the circle. No touch, he's claiming there was, asking for a long corner. Umpire nothing doing. So Malaysia now 1 from 6 from penalty corners in the tournament so far. Campbell Geddes brings it down from the night sky. Finds Holland. Holland ricochets up in the air. Great defence in the end from Jeffrey-ness, although it will be another penalty corner for Australia. Holland creating that one. And Jack Holland has been a live wire tonight for Australia. And with the work rate of him and Liam Hart up front, they're really going to make teams work hard defensively. So Hubbard makes his way to the baseline. Geddes again takes up the first battery position. Brodie Foster the second. Will they go to Geddes or will they go to Foster? They go to Geddes. Well, it was trapped well. He just left it behind. It slipped out of his stick. Holland tries to get the shot away, and Hubbard had to jump out of the way of that one. It will be a long corner for Australia. Once again, we see the ball roll to the wrong area. It's been a little bit frustrating today. Geddes. Deflection away. One at the top of the circle, but it was a stick block, really blocking the defender from being able to make a tackle. Oh dear, and that's just been thrown straight up in the air and out of play by Mizron. Oh dear, got his foot out of the way really well that time, David Hubbard. These two teams have played each other a fair amount of time, actually, in under-21s hockey, as you'd probably expect, being near neighbours. Going back to 1985 when they met in the Junior World Cup, they played 13 times. Australia have won 8, Malaysia 2, and there have been 3 draws. So you'd say with Australia in the lead at the moment, the odds are against Malaysia getting a victory, just on past results. And we've got another Malaysian player down. This time it's Shami in the centre of midfield. I have to say, I didn't see what happened. I was watching the ball. And Shami now going to hobble off as well. I'm sure he'll be back, though. Malaysia need to find a spark from somewhere. Just need to get that little fire in the belly and really take it to their opponents. Good work again being done by Henderson to Doan. Doan just lays it back to Otterbach. Come across now to Brooks. Australia in the box seat as that's played forward by Nathan Zinner. Zinner again. Otterbach. Malaysia still sitting very deep. Brooks now able to carry it up to the 23 metres. Goes back to Connor Otterbach. Zinner. Over the side it goes, and it'll be Geddes to play it in for Australia. Back to Otterbach. Looking to sweep that one wide, and Malaysia keep it in play. But good work being done there by Trent Sims. Stole it back for Australia. And that's the thing. Malaysia, when they get the ball, they do not have any moment to enjoy it. Mamat was closed down immediately. Brooks now. Mamat is ahead of him. Brooks fired it through 2 defenders, and eventually they clear it out of the circle again, but over the side, and it'll be Brooks will play it in for Australia with just over 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Australia having got a second goal in this quarter. So Australia at the moment, 5 different goal scorers for them, which is always a good sign in a team. Brought down by Abdul Razak. Razak trying to get the better of Doan. He gets past him, cuts infield now. Good defence from Otterbach, but he collided with Doan. And so a passive obstruction, really. So Malaysia, again, a chance to attack. Norizam just places the ball where the umpire's happy. Self-passes. Comes out wide now, trying to cut infield is Hazri. Hazri changes direction. That's a good steal again by Sims. And a little bit of afters there from Sims, and the umpire just telling him he can cut that out. Trent Sims is, well, he looked like butter won't melt in his mouth. He's a Mazenod College boy, but clearly shows there's a fire in the belly there. Good to see, in my opinion. Brooks. Sims gets the ball again. Had to just check his run. to trap that one. And Zina just didn't manage to get that one under control. So Malaysia with the chance for one last attack, you feel, in this quarter. And just that pressure sees them just push the ball too far ahead. And then Australia managed to get it out to Holland. Brooks helps it forward, but it's back with Malaysia. Should come wide now to Tangaraja. His pass is a little bit astray, and it's now with Australia and a chance to break forward for Liam Hart. Hart checks back, goes infield. Lovely little shimmy from Toby Mallon. And a penalty corner won by him. Australia's 10th. Well, it was enough to silence the drums. So Australia looking to just stretch their lead. They've got under 2 minutes left in this quarter. And Rafaisal, who was unlucky with the one that did creep past him, that Lambeth managed to just poke in. But he will feel he's got the measure of it. Alfarico has to drop back as we've got another player now for Malaysia with a bit of a hobble. And I just wonder if these players are just finding this a little bit tough now. Zulhanif is the player injured. It's Cooper Burns. What a save. Keeper absolutely brilliant. Took it on the chest and off his line. Well, if a few more players could show the pluck and determination that Faisal has shown in this tournament so far, Malaysia may just be a little bit more competitive than they have been. They've been defending rather than being clinical in attack. Here comes the shot again, and this time absolutely no mistake. Wonderful finish, and Australia have a third through Burns. So you feel now that that may well be the end for Malaysia. They've not had too many attacks. The keepers for Australia not really been troubled. And so you just wonder, with just the last quarter to come, how Malaysia can lift. So they push back. Danish Ayman comes across now to Faris Harazan, and I'm pleased to see him back out there. Helped forward. And here is a good chance for Malaysia. They get inside the circle. They need to make something of this. Over the baseline it goes. It's a long corner. Just waiting for the ball, I think. And the ball boys just having a chat over in the corner. Taken quickly. Drilled into the circle, collected easily though by Toby Mallon. And Australia just getting the passing wrong as they're trying to play out of defence that time. Brooks now will take it down into the corner and try and eat up valuable seconds. Brooks doing well. Over the baseline it goes, and it'll be a 16 to Australia. And they'll just stroll out with that with 20 or so seconds remaining. Thrown high into the air. It's brought down by Hart, but in the end he loses out. Good steal again on halfway by Australia, but not sure they'll be able to do much with it as it comes out to Hubbard, and he plays it forward looking for Foster. But that is the end of the third quarter. It's been a good one for Australia. Jake Lambeth on hand to poke home a penalty corner, made it 2-0. And Cooper Burns with a conversion straight from a penalty corner made it 3-0. So at the final break, it's Australia 3, Malaysia 0. Welcome back to the Tamandaya Hockey Stadium as Malaysia make their way out for the final quarter in this last match on day 2 of the Sultan of Johor Cup 2022, the 10th edition of this under-21 tournament. And Malaysia trailing Australia by 3-0. And, well, it's not good news if you're a Malaysia fan. And you've got to go back to 2015 for the last time that Malaysia managed to defeat Australia at under-21 level. That was in this tournament. They won 3-2 in that game. They did get a draw last time around in 2019. But as mentioned previously, the Australian team at that time was struggling with a bit of a bug that went through the whole team. No excuses. They still put a team out and Malaysia still achieved the draw. The unwanted stat as Australia come on the attack again. Going on the reverse stick across the face of goal. It was almost tucked in by Foster, but claims it caught his body. Foster says it didn't. And the unwanted record is that the last time either team kept a clean sheet in this fixture was way back in 1989. So records are there to be broken. And I'm sure that the Australian coaching staff would love a clean sheet tonight. Malaysia, Zulhanif trying to get it into the circle, but the Australian defence is there. Now it's Cooper Burns. Short pass from him is a good one. Bursting forward again, Toby Mallon. And dispossessed, and the free hit is going to go Malaysia's way. Quick to get on with it this time is Mizron, but in the end he's going to leave it behind. And it will be Zulhanif. Alfarico calling for the ball. Lovely turn by him. Mizron again. Down the side he goes, and a chance for... In fact, that's Mizron there. My apologies. It was actually Zulhanif who played it to Mizron. Two just swapping positions. Foster now. Foster decides to go through the middle himself. Foster has ahead of him Hart. He feeds it to Hart now. And in it goes, and Hart gets a second. And Australia get a fourth. And it is, you feel. Good night, Malaysia. Now Foster feeding it to Hart. And Malaysia now really on the rocks. And they don't want to concede 5 again. They conceded 5 last night against India. Just would not look too good to concede 5 once more. They conceded 6 against Australia. Sultan of Johor Cup in 2018. It's the biggest victory by Australia against Malaysia going back to 85. So this is a good performance by this team. Hart will now go top of the goal-scoring charts for Australia. Forrester of South Africa, Le Forrester rather, and Sharda of India, top in the rankings with 3 apiece at the moment. Doan for Australia, pushes it wide, Geddes. Accelerates away, lovely touch from Geddes. He leaves a player behind in his wake, just tumbling on the turf. Man hitting the turf was Najmi. Campbell Geddes is a lot strongly built than he looks. Is that a word? Strongly? I think stronger built than he looks. It's been a long day. So Australia again, totally in control. Malaysia not really putting that much pressure. Henderson again, had a big game for Australia. Henderson, Doan, thought about slipping it back to him, instead goes wide. Diagonal pass, picks out Holland. Holland on the reverse stick, and it's gone through the keeper. And Holland gets his second of the tournament, but he gets Australia's fifth, his first tonight. And they're sharing the goals around now, Australia. And Malaysia, sadly, have conceded 5 for the second night in a row. And that may well silence the drums. So 2 goals within a minute. And it's going to be tough for Amin Rahim to build this team up. He's going to have to work hard tomorrow. Maybe they need a fun day out. Maybe they can visit Legoland. Sometimes just to take a player away and just give them a break can be what they need. Picked up well in the midfield that time by Norizan, but pressure from Australia, and he had to go backwards. Mizran. And again, just lost there by Jeffriness. And here comes Australia again. Holland to Doan. In turn, it goes to Atkinson. Atkinson to Foster. Alfarico almost stole it away from Foster and then just managed to just duck in ahead of him. And he was helped out by Tangaraja. Pass comes back to Atkinson. Finds Brooks. Brooks will happily go back to Otterbach. Doan. Just as more and more of the players got involved tonight for Australia. It will come wide now to Trent Sims. Back to Otterbach. Brooks, good run by him. Forced wide though, good defence by Malaysia. And the real determination. And eventually it is a free hit after a little bit of a push from Jake Lambert. Coach Amin Rahimi won the Asian Indoor Championships for the first time ever with Malaysia. Just a few months ago, I had the pleasure of commentating that, and it was a truly magnificent performance against Iran, ranked 4 in the world. And I can tell you, Iran were very disappointed. They'd never lost the Asian Indoor Championship, so it was a big blow and a huge victory for Malaysia. So he managed to get success with that team, and maybe in the coming year and a bit he will be able to build with these players the same resolve that sees them competitive at the Junior World Cup in 2023 when Malaysia host it. But at the moment the team looks a little bit dispirited. Turn again from Atkinson, goes back to Brooks. Otterbach. Brooks again. Back it goes from Atkinson to Otterbach, and now Nathan Zinner. And again, Australia just hanging on to the ball. A lone man comes forward. Hazri to put pressure on the Australian defence. Zinner has to play the ball back, get his drops back into the defensive line. Feeds it to Otterbach, and he tells him to throw the aerial pass, and there it is. Well, Zinner felt it should be his free hit. The whistle does go, and it will be Zinner's ball. Halfway through the final quarter. Don't think there's any doubt in the result now. It's just whether Australia will get any more goals and whether Malaysia can find a goal from somewhere. Ollie Higgins, standing outside his circle, has had very little to do. Jed Snowden, the other goalkeeper, also almost redundant. Some would argue that maybe Australia should look at playing with 11 outfield players at the moment just to give it a bit of practice, but then there would be the school of thought that would say that that was disrespecting their opposition. But have to do it at some point to know how to do it in the big tournaments. Trying to get on with things quickly, just slipping there. And penalty corner to Australia. Penalty corner number 12. So it's been a tough night. They only conceded 4 against India, Malaysia, but Australia have really put them under the cosh. And Brooks comes on with the instructions. And Sims just being told to come forward. That means there's just at the moment one lone defender is Toby Mallon, along with Ollie Higgins. So I think there's another man coming back now. Sims doing the injecting. Also on halfway now will be Jaden Atkinson. So Geddes at the first battery, Burns at the second. It goes to Campbell Geddes. Into the first runner it goes, but not into his body, off his stick. Otterback tries to keep it alive, loses out. Wins it back though with the stick low down, almost indoor style. Atkinson now. Goes back to Sims, who's made a good run from injector back into the heart of defence. Otterback goes infield. Atkinson had to stretch to get that one. Campbell Geddes now, and on the overlap, Australia have numbers. Across the face of goal and very nearly put in. Claims it goes off the foot of Zulhanif. I thought it was off his stick, and I think Faisal is saying the same, but it's another penalty corner for Australia, number 13. Now Sims again will make his way to the baseline. Geddes and Cooper Burns will wait once more at the top of the circle. Off to the left-hand side is Jack Holland. So Geddes is at the first battery, Cooper Burns at the second. Otterback stopping for Geddes. They went before the whistle that time. So we're going to have to go back. I think they were just, someone was obviously keeping an eye on the clock, saw the clock get down to 0 and just thought, okay, we can go. But you've got to wait for the whistle. Whistle goes now. Same positions taken up by the same players. Goes to Cooper Burns, and this time sneaks it past the left pad, and that is a 6th goal for Australia and a 2nd for Burns tonight. And so Australia now, really you'd have to say home and hosed. Cooper Burns got 1 last night and now has 2 tonight, so he joins the top scorers in the tournament. And Malaysia concedes 6 for just the 2nd time in the last 13 meetings. This is meeting number 14. Alfarico comes wide again. Can Malaysia find a goal from somewhere? Najmi helps it forward. A driving run coming now from Jamli Jamlis. That's a good block by Tangaraja, but it's collected again. The desperation from Hubbard sees Australia back up with the ball. It's just gone over the side that time off the Malaysian stick. So Hubbard again. Goes back to Otterback as we have 4.5 minutes left in this match. The 6th match of the Sultan of Johor Cup. Mistake at the back by the captain. So it will be Malaysia ball from the side. Shami, who went off injured, is back out there. Good to see. But he loses out on his run towards the circle. Henderson just pickpocketing him. Otterback. It will come back to Otterback. And again, just so much space to feed it through to Toby Mallon. Henderson again. Mallon wants it back. Henderson to Mallon now. Mallon will be closed down, but wants to take the players on, tries to squeeze through the gap. But Tangaraja will get the free hit for Malaysia. Plays it square. Malaysia, can they find a goal from somewhere? May as well go all-out attack. Jeffrey-Ness forced to go backwards again. Najmi. Tangaraja just played that blind and it was easily collected in the end by Hubbard. Doan. Henderson calling for it, but comes back to Hubbard. Now Henderson, first times it down the line. Stepping out well, getting a touch there was Najmi, but it'll be Australia ball from the sideline. Hubbard, back to Otterbach. And that's a good pass, and Holland weaves his way into the circle, looks for the foot, penalty corner. The defender going down on one knee made it really easy for Jack Holland to win the penalty corner. And Australia, well, they may have the chance now to get a 7th goal. Well, before today, they'd almost outscored Malaysia in this fixture by double. Coming into today, Australia scored 34 games in 13 matches against Malaysia. Malaysia scored 19. That 34 has already jumped to 40 now in 14. Cooper Burns on a hat-trick is at the first battery. Josh Brooks is at the second. And they go to Burns, and he puts it the other side of the keeper this time. So Cooper Burns gets the first hat-trick of the tournament. He makes it 7-0 for Australia. He also goes top of the goal-scoring charts so far in the tournament, and we still have 2.5 minutes remaining. So well done, Cooper Burns. And Australia, well, they struggled a little bit to get the goals initially. And I'm sure they'll be really happy about this at the Maribyrnong Sports Academy. Cooper Burns having come through that academy and showing that they really can produce some talented players. Malaysia, well, they've got a long day soul-searching tomorrow. It's a day off here tomorrow, and then we'll be back with more action on Tuesday. All the games starting at roughly the same times. And the first up, the early game, will see Australia playing Great Britain. Of course, Great Britain going down to Japan today. And then we will see Japan taking on India. India, of course, who went down today to South Africa. And then a really interesting fixture, South Africa taking on Malaysia. Here come Australia again. Good work by Henderson. Reverse stick shot, and it's there. Popped in. Brodie Foster is there. Rafael made the save from Henderson. And Brodie Foster gets his first. Australia have 8. And this is a romp for the men from down under. And one just wonders how Amin Rahim is going to pick his players up now. This is a mauling. And that game against South Africa, if they lose that one, spirits will really sink. Well, the Malaysian player, Najmi's gone down, but Australia were going on the counter-attack. The physios come on the field of play. Najmi is clearly in intense pain. I think, though, it may just be cramped by the reaction of the support staff on the sideline. He went down as if he'd been shot. And there looked to be absolutely no contact from the Australian player. Mind you, saying that, cramp can be incredibly painful. Well, the stretcher is out there now. And they're putting it alongside, and I think again there was a little bit of pain in the fact that his pass into the circle was blocked. Well, it's not a great sight seeing the player being lifted and they're trying to pull him up by the arms. Need to get underneath his shoulders. I'm pleased to say he's on the stretcher now. And with 47 seconds left, I don't think he'll play any further part in the game. Fadako waiting to come on at halfway. He can go on now. Just asking the TD if he could. And Malaysia with one last chance to go on the attack. Tangaraja plays it out wide. It's again a hopeful ball forward, cut out by Hubbard. Australia have possession, and I would think they would just keep this now and run the clock down. Malaysia close them down, and it's thrown forward. And there is one chance for another attack as Lambeth looks to find a way forward. It just caught his foot, and that is most likely the final play. Malaysia looking no interest really to get on with things. Played square, and Tangaraja had to stretch for that, and that just really sums up their night. Disappointing in the extreme. A lack of cohesion, and Australia looking really, really good. But you just don't know how much they were tested tonight, but they have had a record score against their opponents. Australia, courtesy of goals, Hart with 2, Lambeth with 1, Foster with 1, and Cooper Burns with 3. Victorious over Malaysia by 8-0. There'll be no action tomorrow, but we will be back on Tuesday and hope you can join us then. Thanks for your company.